when I was just 9 years old. I had my own room where I slept soundly. However, one night, strange things began happening that would change my perception of nighttime forever. Every so often, I'd hear peculiar noises at night. Sometimes they came from the kitchen, and other times, they seemed to originate right within my own room. At first, I brushed them off, thinking it was just everyday objects shifting or falling due to uneven surfaces. One fateful night, I awoke abruptly, my senses acutely alert. My cat, usually calm and quiet, was growling and fixated on a spot across the room. A shiver ran down my spine as I turned my gaze in the same direction. In the darkness, there stood a large silhouette, vaguely human-shaped. The only illumination came from the faint moonlight filtering through the window. I strained my eyes, trying to discern any features, but all I knew was that it was looking at me, its presence eerie and unsettling. For what felt like an eternity, I sat up in my bed, locked in an inexplainable gaze with the shadowy figure. It didn't move, and I couldn't make out any details about it. A strange sense of calm eventually washed over me, and I laid back down, feeling strangely at ease. When I awoke the next morning, the room was empty. There was nothing there that could have created that mysterious silhouette. From that night on, I chose not to sleep in the living room, forever haunted by the enigmatic visitor that had paid me a nighttime visit. When I was 18 and had just earned my driver's license, a group of my friends and I embarked on a mission to find abandoned houses for air parties. We had come across a few candidates, but the ultimate prize was a house I'd pass on my way home from work. This particular house was like a treasure trove, a massive, half-finished mansion on a sprawling property. I'd already shared this hidden gem with one of my friends, and one summer evening, before heading to the movies, I decided to take him there. As dusk settled in and my headlights pierced the gathering darkness, we pulled into the front of the house. We barely spent 10 seconds there before deciding to return to the main road. It was a fleeting visit. Our casual visit took a strange turn when, a minute later, a large truck appeared behind us. Its high beams blazed, and it followed closely. My friend and I exchanged glances, feeling uneasy. At a nearby intersection, I turned right, but the truck maneuvered through a gas station, effectively blocking our path. Out of the truck emerged a massive man, and our anxiety skyrocketed. The peculiar part was that this busy road suddenly seemed deserted. No other witnesses were in sight. The imposing man questioned us about our presence at the house, and, in a nervous rush, I fabricated a story about making a U-turn. He scrutinized us for a few heart-pounding moments, a chilling smile on his face. Eventually, he let us go, and we quickly drove away, leaving the eerie house behind. To this day, I'm convinced that place concealed some sort of illicit activity, a valuable lesson learned that night to steer clear of abandoned houses. Last summer, I was visiting my parents' house during the holidays. It was around 3 a.m., and I was in my room, engrossed in my computer, when my phone rang. The caller was my 11-year-old sister. This phone call was already peculiar because my sister's room was just down the hallway, and she could have easily walked over to speak with me. However, I picked up the call, and it abruptly ended as soon as I reached for it. Curious, I thought she might need something urgently, so I headed towards her room. But the moment I approached her door, I heard her screaming in sheer terror, claiming that there was someone else in the room with her. Without hesitation, I burst into her room, only to find it empty, with no intruder in sight. After she calmed down, my sister told me that she had awoken to find a dark shadow hovering just inches from her face, which had caused her to scream. Confused, I mentioned that she had called me, but she insisted that her phone wasn't even in her room. It was downstairs inside her purse. Even more puzzling was the fact that I had the call log on my phone, but she had no record of it on hers.